Hey everyone, and welcome back to another video. Today we're celebrating the new year with my top 10 favorite games of 2024. 2024 had so many amazing games, and unfortunately I wasn't able to play all of them. However, the games I did manage to play were some of the best in 2024. Stick around till the end because the top 3 might surprise you. But before we get into the list, if you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this. But without further ado, let's get into the list. First up, we have the long-awaited sequel to the Budokai Tenkaichi series, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. This entry includes super content, which fans have been wanting for years. The game looks absolutely gorgeous, for the most part, aside from some weird-looking character models, but in movement, everything looks great. The particles, the effects, everything from the ki blast to the high-speed fisticuffs, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero really makes you feel like you're Goku.
Right here and now! Yeah! Yeah! I mean, crap, man.
The reason that it sits at number 10 is because at launch, the game was kind of buggy, and some aspects of the game just needed updated. Also, the story mode, while ambitious, left me overwhelmed with all the different timelines going on. Sometimes it's hard to keep track of everything. I really enjoyed the what ifs, but only when things got really crazy. Overall, Dragon Ball fans got a real treat with this release, and I hope with future updates and patches, this game will be one of the best Dragon Ball games. Mario and Luigi Brothership is the long-awaited entry to the Mario and Luigi series. Ever since Alpha Dreams closed down shop, fans have been wondering if there will ever be a new installment to this beloved series. Thankfully, we actually got a new entry, not by Alpha Dreams, but by Acquire. Brothership is an RPG like the previous titles, and overall the gameplay is very similar. You'll encounter different puzzles and battles that incorporate the brothers' teamwork. The story is fine, but nothing really stood out to me personally. I can't quite put my finger on it, but Brothership just doesn't live up to my expectations. There is something about it that kept me from loving the game. But overall, the game is a fun RPG with a simple story and engaging enough combat. The art style is unique and the animations are fantastic. While it may not be my favorite Mario & Luigi game, it still has good moments. And overall, it's a good game. Rivals of Aether is one of the best platformer fighters outside of Smash Bros. Most other platform fighters have floaty controls and janky movement. Rivals 2 on the other hand looks polished and has solid gameplay. Rivals 2 also added new mechanics like the addition of 3 new specials to each character. Both returning and new characters are fun to play, but honestly I love playing as the new characters so much that I tend to just stick with them. Rivals 2 is going to continue to grow in the coming years, so it will be interesting to see what they add in a year or two. So for Smash fans, I would highly recommend keeping an eye on this one. Marvel Rivals is fantastic. Marvel Rivals is a team-based hero shooter, which basically means that it's Overwatch, but with Marvel characters. I normally don't like hero shooters, but something drew me to Marvel Rivals. Oddly enough, it wasn't the iconic Marvel roster, but instead it was the art style. This is the best looking game of 2024, hands down. The animation, the anime inspired visuals, it all just goes so well with the Marvel IP. While the art style drew me in, the gameplay was so fun and addicting. Each character brings their own unique playstyle to the team. With 4 modes and 33 characters at the time of this recording, Marvel Rivals is only going to get better and better as time goes on, with more content added in the future. To top it all off, the game is free to play. Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown was such a nice surprise. Not only is Prince of Persia the franchise back, but it is better than ever. Don't get me wrong, I really enjoy the classic games, but I am a sucker for Metroidvanias. I did a whole review for this game, so I won't delve into it too much, but to sum up my thoughts, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown is a great 2D action-adventure game with a really unique world, challenging bosses, and some really creative time abilities that make this one of the best Metroidvanias out there. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is one of those games that improves on just about every element of its predecessor. The world has expanded beyond the city of Midgar, and the party has added 3 new characters to play. There is more side quests, more mini games, and even an excellent new card game that had me ditching the main quest more times than I care to admit.
Cry me a river. 3 beautiful kings.
Flush.
You mother...
While I love most of what they added, I will say that some sections are way too bloated, and sometimes it can really drag the pacing of the game. But overall, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is a great second entry to this grand trilogy, and here's hoping that the final entry in this Final Fantasy trilogy lives up to the high expectations that Remake and Rebirth set up. Black Myth Wukong was a game I have been looking forward to for many years, back when the studio dropped an hour of gameplay out of nowhere on YouTube. Now that the game is out, it not only lives up to the hype, but it exceeds it. The boss fights in this game are so grand and epic. They really are the star of the show. Bosses are very challenging, but they are so satisfying to take down. I now understand what Dark Souls players feel when beating a difficult boss. I will say that the last chapter of the game really does drag this game down a bit for me. It's kind of cool that they make it like an open world section, but it's so big, so bloated, and so empty that I would rather it be something smaller and scaled down. Honestly though, the aesthetic and the mythology of Wukong is what got me and a lot of players to play it. You can tell that there's a lot of passion and love poured into this title, and I hope that we get more outstanding games like Wukong in the future. Dragon's Dogma 2 was a surprise hit for me, not because it was a long-awaited sequel to a cult classic, but because I actually loved my time with it. Yes, it has its problems, and yes, the game is very strange and quirky, but dang it, I kinda love it anyways. The fact that it managed to consume me for as long as it did is one of the reasons it is at my number 3 slot. It's one of the most unique RPGs out there, with its unique pawn system and crazy over-the-top boss fights. Dragon's Dogma 2 is an excellent RPG, and the series has the potential to do even greater things in the future, and I cannot wait to see what Capcom does next. Next up is the yearly Zelda game, The Legend of Zelda: Echoes of Wisdom. Zelda almost always makes my list. I don't know how that keeps happening. This time Zelda is the protagonist instead of Link. The game is in a top-down perspective with this toy aesthetic art style. At first I wasn't sure about this game with the first trailer, but man did it win me over in the end. The gameplay is a mix between classic and modern Zelda, with puzzles being solved in a multitude of ways. I grew to love this game's high roll and its art style. The game just has a certain charm and it's just a joy to play. I am so looking forward to more Zelda games with Zelda as the main character, especially if they're going to be as good as Echoes of Wisdom. Before we get to number 1, here are some honorable mentions. First up we have Metaphor. This one absolutely would have been on the list if I played the full version of the game. Yeah, you see, I only played the demo of this game, and I had a freaking blast with it. Honestly, I am so excited to pick up the full installment, but I couldn't justify putting it on this list if I've only played the demo. Even though it was a pretty beefy demo, I might add. This game has it all for me. It's a brand new IP, it's anime, it's an RPG, and while yes, it is very Persona-like, I love Persona, so I'm really down with this game. It also helps that this is a brand new world, and it's a fantasy world too. There's just so many interesting aspects to this game, the characters are great, and I am so excited to get the full game eventually and play through it to completion. Next honorable mention is Tekken 8, another demo I played. I am slowly getting into fighting games. I am really trying my best to get into these games. Some of them I really get into, like 2XKO. I cannot wait for that game to come out. But of course I try to play classic franchises like Tekken, Fatal Fury, all of that kind of stuff. Tekken is one of those fighting game franchises that I haven't sat down and given it enough time. While I haven't played much of Tekken, I have played a lot of Soul Calibur. And I know the two games are very different, but they do feel very similar to someone who is casual at fighting games. And I will say that aspect, and the fact that the characters look really cool in Tekken, is what makes me want to play Tekken 8 more, and actually get the full game. Oh, and did I mention that Clive Rosfield is in the game? Tekken has some of the weirdest crossovers, but I love it. Having Clive in the game honestly makes me want to get the game so bad right now. But I'm going to hold off just a bit longer. Who knows, maybe we'll get even more cool collaborations in the future. Finally, on the honorable mentions list, we have Dragon Quest III HD 2D Remake. And there's a couple reasons why it didn't make this list. First off, it is a remake. It is a beautiful remake, but it is still a remake. I know there's discussion out there of what constitutes a remake, remastered, and normally I don't put remastered or remakes on my list, so that is one of the reasons I didn't put this game on here. But man, I almost did because I love this game. But in this list, I do try to keep those games out just to give other games more of a chance. That, and I haven't sank a ton of hours in Dragon Quest III, so that's also another reason why I didn't make the cut. Otherwise, this remake definitely could have, because so far I am having a blast with Dragon Quest III Remake. At number 1, we have my boy Astrobot. This is the gamiest game to have ever gamed, and I would not have it any other way. Astrobot is pure fun. The story is only there in concept, and nothing is taken seriously. This platformer has the tightest controls with the best feedback. Mario has a new competitor in PlayStation's new platforming mascot. Each level is lovingly crafted with unique settings and mechanics that make each one stand out from one another. Astrobot even has special power-ups that elevate his gameplay, and none of these power-ups are bad. I don't know how people can hate this game. The game brought me pure joy for the entire playthrough. I cannot remember the last game that was consistently fun like Astrobot. It absolutely deserved to win Game of the Year at the Game Awards, and it is absolutely my personal Game of the Year for 2024. It has everything I love about video games and more. 2024 has been a great year for gaming. We got new releases to long dormant franchises like Dragon Ball Budokai Tenkaichi and Dragon's Dogma, as well as unexpected hits like Black Myth Wukong and Prince of Persia. With all of these great games in mind, 2025 looks to be even bigger with loads of games to keep us entertained. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite game of 2024 was. Is it anything on this list? If not, let me know down in the comments below. And as always, thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe for more content like this. Thank you all for watching, and stay tuned for more content like this in the new year. God bless.